In this episode of Pending and Trending, I sit down with Anne Lusk, a top producing agent, to talk about what really builds a thriving real estate business, from mentoring new agents to mastering mindset and preparation. Anne shares how servant leadership and daily 1% improvements have led to long-term success. If you're looking to lead with purpose and grow with intention, this is the one for you. Welcome to Pending and Trending. I am your host, Deidre Quinn, and this podcast is all about helping real estate agents stay ahead in today's fast-moving market. With over 20 years of experience and a passion for building relationships, I bring you the latest tips, trends, and strategies to elevate you and your business. Whether you're looking to dominate a niche, stay sharp on industry shifts, or build your own generational wealth, you are in the right place. Let's get to it, because what's trending today can get you pending tomorrow. I'm Deidre Quinn. I am a top realtor with over 20 years experience, and I am based out of the Philadelphia area, and I'm the host of Pending and Trending. I share insider tips, market trends, and expert strategies to empower real estate agents to thrive and create their own lasting wealth. I'd like to introduce you to our listeners. This is Anne Lusk. Anne's one of the top 100 realtors out of 26,000 worldwide at Sotheby's. And her mantra is success through serving others. And she's dedicated to mentoring and community engagement. Is that right?
That's correct.
All right. All right. So, Anne, when you say success through serving others, what does that look like in your day-to-day practice?
I would say that a lot of times as realtors, we're thought of as only seeking commissions. And a lot of times what we do is counsel others for their highest and best good. Sometimes you meet somebody that really wants to buy a house, but they're really not in that correct position yet. And you want them to be successful in life. And part of that might be having the heart to tell them you really need to save more money. You might need to wait a year or 2 or 3 because you're looking out for their highest and best good. Because owning a house is a huge responsibility. It's not like when you rent where your water heater goes, you make a phone call. When you own and your water heater goes, it could be $2,000 or $3,500, depending whether it's propane, natural gas, electric, the size, the brand needed, the space you can put it in. Getting a water heater out in an old house sometimes it's just not the water heater. They built the wall after they put the water heater in. So really counseling people and mentoring them about what homeownership means and the responsibility and how you have to be accountable, I think is a really important thing as an agent. And
yeah, so you help them look at the big picture and determine really if that's the right decision for them at this time. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
Yeah. And then, okay, so you take that, and then how would you say like that mindset has helped you really stand out and rise to the top 100 within your organization, if in fact you credit it to that?
I think people watch what you do more than listen to what you say. And by always being positive and truly helping people, making it about them. I remember taking the Dale Carnegie course years ago, and it talked about with them, what's in it for me? That's what the consumer wants to know. And when you're making it about your client, they see that and they feel very comfortable referring you. And with referrals, you build business and trust. And if you can get referrals, advertising is really extra to get cream on the top. It's not what you base your business off of.
So you are constantly looking out for the client. You are building that relationship and that trust and gaining referrals from that and continuously building your business that way. How do you translate that service? Now, I understand you engage a lot with your community and you mentor others along the way. How do you translate that into doing that?
I would say last year, just in residential sales at $115 million, and another 10 in land and commercial things. And I would say that the results speak for themselves. When you have to do good in order to do well. And I think just being consistent on how I treat people and serve them and make it about them has rewarded me a thousandfold. And sometimes you do things that you just don't get paid for, but you're rewarded in other ways. And I find that in our business, people always are looking for the paycheck, not the long term picture. And sometimes just helping somebody, you never know who they know.
That's
One of
right.
my biggest
Point.
sales, great referral sources, was a gentleman that bought a house for 54.9 from me that took me 3.5 years for him to get him financed. But he referred me to a CFO of a company when they were talking one night in our office about the great service and the time and the patience that I really wanted him to succeed and build a good foundation before buying a house and getting his credit in order and saving money and education. And the man sitting on the other side said, I bought an $800,000 house and my realtor didn't do any of that for me. I did good and it helped me do well. And I think as realtors, sometimes we don't always look at it that way. And it's important to build a business that you put other people's needs first before your own.
Absolutely.
That servant mindset, I think, is huge into building great success.
So what I'm hearing is that it's all about the client, and it's not about whether it's a 20,000 or $50,000 transaction or $1 million transaction. It's really about what they need and how you can help them get there. So you make it about the client and it comes back to you tenfold.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
110%.
that's great. That's great. And then, so you mentor others, am I correct? Do you like
Yeah,
mentor others?
realtors, students. Again, I feel like giving back when you're blessed is so important because we want to build the next great generation. And you do that by sharing your knowledge and helping people maybe not make the mistakes you made.
That's right. That's right. So give me an example of that, and how do you help them not make some of the mistakes that you've made? And if you have a specific example to share, that would be great.
I would say I feel that a lot of people I mentor, is one of the things I tell them is it takes 3 years in real estate. So many people give up. And I sometimes met agents that were failing and they came to work with me and it turned their life around because I basically went and told them, don't give up, but here's what you're doing wrong. And here's the things I did wrong. I think in the beginning of my business, I didn't really, it's important to sit down with a client before you ever show them a house. Sometimes when you're new, you're just so happy you get a client, you rush out and meet them.
Yeah.
And one, it's dangerous. Two, you don't really get to know them because a lot of times someone's on the phone with you and say they want one thing, but when you spend time with them, you realize it's total opposite. Like you learn about how they live. Somebody that works 100 hours a week and tells me they want 10 acres, that's not a matching lifestyle. Because 10 acres, unless you're making a lot of money, takes a lot of your personal blood, sweat, and tears. So again, when you're counseling and knowing them, they might say they want an old house, but their lifestyle and time, you when you get to know them, really they need a new house that's turnkey,
You're
or
right.
and because they have no time, and you don't want the neighbors to hate them because they don't pull weeds or cut the grass. It's an example. Sometimes as a newer agent, I tell them, don't just rush out and meet them. Sit with them, make sure they're pre-approved, show them meeting one what closing costs are. It's
Right.
amazing. People will say, oh, I've saved money. I got 5% down. What about the 5% you're going to need for closing cost? And they look at you and say, what's that? And at a first meeting, you can show, here's what it's going to cost you to buy a home. Think of your moving expenses. Insurance is a really big deal these days because the cost of insurance has went up significantly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they might not qualify for the home they think they're going to qualify for. And when
Right.
you do the good faith estimate, when they do a pre-approval, and I tell people, especially your first home and your first loan, don't go online to find your lender. Ask your real estate professional who is a lender or a bank or a mortgage person that will sit down with them, meet face to face, show him what it costs to buy a home, show it what it means to qualify for a home,
Yeah. Yeah.
and what's used in that qualification process. Your car insurance is not figured into whether what kind of home you can afford. Your car payment is, but not your car insurance payment. So if your car insurance payment, because you're a really bad driver, is $600 a month, wow, what the lender shows you as a pity payment, what you really can afford to maintain your lifestyle are two different things.
Right. So you're really talking to them about affordability and what their comfort level would be when they get into that home. So that makes sense. Out of the going back to the agents that you've mentored over the years, can you give me an example of somebody that you've really helped by taking them under your wing and what that looked like, what exactly you did to help them?
Absolutely. I hope he listens to this podcast because I'm so proud of him. I had an assistant. He got his real estate license, and then I took him in as an assistant. And I said, you have a lot to learn before you start selling homes. He'd only been in this country for 5 years. So he didn't have a big sphere of influence. And I
Yeah.
said, learn how to be my assistant and how this works first. And when you're done with this, you'll be a very successful agent. After doing that, he says, I'm ready now. He sold millions of dollars in real estate in a short time. He wasn't even, he didn't even grow up in this country.
And how long was he your assistant
About
before?
a year and a half.
Okay, so it was very fast paced and then how did he transition and get meet those people, meet those clients and get
Well,
the
he was willing to be on our office lead team.
Okay.
So even though the split isn't great, it's like a 50-50 after your franchise fee, it was really helpful for him to understand how it worked. He could listen, his desk was next to mine. He could listen to how I spoke to people. He knew the process. He understood about excellence, and people know two words right now. And so he really maximized it. He was here for a while and then he moved to California
Oh,
and he killed it. And he didn't live there, but he said he understood. He learned the basics. And now he's in Colorado. And he's learned how to, the skills he learned working for me, to be excellent in his business, no matter where he moves or where he goes. And I feel very good about that story. He just had
yeah.
first child on Mother's Day, and I'm
How
so
fitting.
happy for him.
Yeah.
But he learned a lot, and he took the skills that he learned here to be great. And some of his listings out there in California made my heart palpitate. They were just spectacular. And he learned how to work hard, and he learned how to be successful in real estate no matter what market he's in. And I'm really proud of that.
That's great. That's great. And how does that make you feel knowing that you were a part of that journey and how successful he is now?
Excellent. It makes me feel so proud of him. And again, in life, you're only successful if you can build giants around you. And my goal is to build giants. And
That's
there's many other
love that.
stories. I have two. One young man worked for me. I owned part of a gym, and I liked the way he wiped the counters, believe it or not. Like that to me showed care and attention to detail. He ended up being an assistant, getting his license, working with me about, I'd say, a year and a half or 2 years, and then spread his wings. And he's been the president of our board of realtors in our area several times and has a very successful real estate career. And I would say that, again, I'm proud of that. I'm proud of taking someone that was wiping counters at the gym and giving them a way that they can make an own career, support their family, and do great things.
I love that you love helping people grow, right? So that's really great. So I imagine that because people see success through others, that many want to have you as part of their mentorship. Or how do you know and how do you choose? How do you know that somebody is going to be successful given the amount of agents that don't make it in this business when they're newer, right? How do you know? How do you know
I
that when you meet them? Do you interview them? How does that work?
It's usually I watch them first. How I watch people's actions, not their words. And
Okay.
I can tell but how they what they do, how they're going to succeed in real estate.
And give me like, what do you look for?
People that care about whatever task they're doing and
Okay.
doing it well. Watching someone pick up a piece of paper in a parking lot tells me they care about others, concern for the earth. It's beyond themselves. I see somebody that pulls up, dressed to the nines, flashy, flashy, and steps over that piece of paper. Not gonna make it with me. It's the one that has the concern, the care, the empathy to serve others. You don't benefit from picking up that piece of paper in the parking lot. It shows me the type of person you are about doing the right things. Someone that cares about doing the right things will succeed because they have character and integrity and motivation.
That's great. That's great. So you're looking for that character and integrity in people, and then you are mentoring them to help them flourish into the
Right.
success that so many have been. So that's great. Congratulations to you. And what a great feeling when you help people along their journey and then you watch them succeed. Now, I know that you talk about improving 1% each day, and what does that mean to you, and how does that relate to this whole picture that we've been talking about?
I would say the 1% each day, and I preach this to a lot of young people I know, because people think that you have to do drastic things to succeed, but the turtle wins the race. And basically, the 1% each day is I evaluate my day the day before and say, what could I have done better? Was I late for an appointment? Was my timing off? Was I not prepared? How can I be a better agent tomorrow? And I write that on a pad next to my bed. That's my last thought. When I wake up, I review my day and say, how can I be better today?
That's great. That's great. And tying into that, we all have failures, right? You talk about the more times you fail, the more times you succeed, I believe. And what's a failure that you've been able to turn into a success, and how did you do that?
I think a lot of times a failure might be that you didn't get the listing
Sure.
and you were against people. And I look at that and say, how can I improve my presentation to not have that happen again? And a lot of times it comes down to, were you prepared enough? Did you do enough research? Did you drive by the house? Did you know everything that went on in that neighborhood? And I usually can pinpoint why I didn't get the listings. Sometimes I'm not going to get the listing if it's the relative of the person and they're just basically using me for my knowledge and information so the relative doesn't screw it up. But I learned from that because sometimes I can get that listing over the relative because my preparation was that much better. In fact, one of the listings I got from somebody that their own relative was in real estate. And they told that relative they should quit where they're going and come work for me. And the person did.
Oh, great.
And he thrived here because he learned how to be better. And I tell people, don't have a bad attitude about any opportunity because you never know. You never know. That person, if you prepare so well and do your job so well, that you're going to get that opportunity.
That's great. That's great. So it's improving each day and being your best self and being able to take steps towards bettering yourself each day, right?
Correct.
That's great. That's great.
Correct. And then I just, not to interrupt, but
Yeah,
my
go ahead.
son's at urgent care and he keeps texting me that he doesn't have his insurance card. So is there anything I could answer to wrap this up because he's freaking out?
Yeah, do you want to just pause and give him his insurance card right now?
I got to go to my car to see if I have it.
Oh, you do? Okay. Okay, so let me just ask you one last question and I'll wrap it up. What are there any goals or dreams that you're still chasing?
Yes, there is a goal. There is a goal and a dream that I am chasing. So about a year ago, I did a crazy thing and opened up an office in State College, Pennsylvania. And basically went into a market that I would say no one knows me. And just was this call within myself that I wanted to do it. And everything fell in line. My first listing was, I think, the largest residential sale there ever. And it happened very quickly. And it's been a great challenge for me to start over and understand and learn everything about a market. When I have a very strong hold in central Pennsylvania, and I'm very blessed and so grateful. But this is like this next challenge for me to say, I've got this. How do I build this business? And sometimes it's hard because I'm used to being so recognizable and a leader and the know-it-all in real estate where I am. And I don't want to sound cocky because I'm very humble. I'm a servant leader. I'm a servant type realtor. But this has been my goal. And my goal there is to really go and be a leader in that market and bring more wealth to that area.
That's great. That's great. And you're well on your way, it sounds like. And to wrap that up, we talked earlier in the beginning that if anyone wants to reach out to you to connect with you regarding your passion of the way you do business or regarding any referrals, that how would they best reach you?
My cell phone, it's by me 24/7.
Okay, great.
Yes, it is 717-271-9339. And emails are tough because I get so many a day, but texting is immediate response.
Okay, you heard it. You heard it. I want to thank our listeners for tuning in today, and don't forget to join us next week for another insightful episode of Pending and Trending. And thank you so very much for being an amazing guest. That's a wrap on this episode of Pending and Trending, where hot meets what's happening in real estate. If you found today's conversation helpful, we'd love for you to hit follow or subscribe, leave a quick review, and share the episode with fellow agent or industry pro. Got a trend, tip, or hot take we should be talking about? Send it our way, and we might feature it in an upcoming episode. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, stay sharp, keep your transactions in motion, and let your energy keep trending.